What do background animals, off-screen sound effects, and a random act of murder all have in common? Most people watch this episode and assume the cats are just set dressing, the battle scenes were just too expensive to film, and the murder is just a random act of madness. But elite directors know that they are all hiding the exact same invisible filmmaking secret. The truth is, the most powerful directing choices are the ones you never actually see. So hey everybody, I am Ritika Dua and welcome to Anigramix. Today we are reverse engineering season 3 episode 5 of House of the Dragon to reveal how the directors use living sets, delayed reactions, off-screen space and shadow to completely hack your subconscious. We are not here to discuss Targaryen lore. We are here to decode how the elite filmmakers use environment and subtext to direct power dynamics. Let's begin by looking at the literal walls of the castle. Lesson number 1, the living set, ecosystem as visual metaphors. Amateur filmmakers use exposition to explain shifting power dynamics, relying on a character to say something obvious like, "We are cleaning house." But elite filmmakers communicate political shifts entirely through the background environment, proving that a set should never be emotionally neutral. Take a close look at the corridors of the Red Keep in this episode. There is a sudden visual absence of the rats from previous seasons, which have been entirely replaced by roaming cats. The production designers swapped the background fauna to subconsciously prime the audience. Rats symbolizes passive decay, hidden secrets, and a rotting kingdom. Cats, on the other hand, are calculated, silent predators. By changing the literal ecosystem of the castle, the audience feels the predatory shift in the regime before the characters even speak a single word. Your practical takeaway: don't just decorate, narrate. When the power dynamic in your story changes, change the background ecosystem to reflect it. Transitioning a set from prey animals to predators subconsciously primes your audience for the incoming conflict. But manipulating the background is only the first step. To truly build tension, a director has to master the psychology of violence. Here comes the lesson number 2, the displaced climax, visualizing insecurity through proxy violence. Amateur writers structure scenes as immediate actions and reactions. If a character is insulted, they instantly yell back. Elite filmmakers understand the true psychological depth comes from delayed reactions and transferred aggression. Look at the moment where Aegon is complaining to Larys and being hit with a brutal, humiliating truth. Minutes later, in an entirely separate scene, Aegon brutally murders a subordinate guard, Janos. The brilliant filmmaking decision here is that the director deliberately avoids a predictable reaction. Aegon is emotionally emasculated by Larys, but because he needs Larys, he cannot strike back. The tension is forced to boil over into the next sequence when Aegon kills the guard. The violence has absolutely nothing to do with Janos. It is Aegon violently trying to reclaim the dominance he lost in the previous room. Your practical takeaway: if your protagonist or villain is humiliated by someone they cannot fight, make them hold it in. In the next scene, have them unleash the pent-up aggression on an innocent proxy. It visually proves how deeply insecure the character truly is. The kind of violence is horrifying because it's so visceral, but sometimes the most terrifying violence in the kind you never actually see. Lesson number 3, the invisible ambush, weaponizing off-screen space. We are trained to think that action means showing everything on screen, but elite directors know that what the audience doesn't see is far more terrifying. This episode teaches how to restrict visual information to induce total panic. Watch Kristen Cole and Gwen Hightower marching in the Riverlands. They are suddenly interrupted when their horses scream and collapse from an unseen rebel attack. The director actively refuses to show the rivermen firing the arrows. By restricting the camera's point of view strictly to Kristen's eye line and relying entirely on visceral, off-screen sound design of screaming horses, the filmmakers force the audience to share Kristen's complete disorientation. The threat feels unstoppable because it has no face. Your practical takeaway: when directing an ambush or sudden attack, don't show the attackers immediately. Lock the camera on your protagonist's confused reaction and use off-screen sound design to build panic before finally revealing the threat. But physical violence is only half the battle. The true tragedy in any story lies in the death of characters' morality. Lesson number 4. The detective's descent. Moral decay through contrast. How do you visually communicate a character crossing a moral event horizon without needing them to announce their dark intentions through dialogue? You use the light. Watch Daemon Targaryen interrogating and violently torturing the spy to uncover who paid for the murdered gold cloaks. The director lights Daemon using extreme high contrast lighting. One half of his face is bathed in harsh practical firelight, while the other is swallowed by pure black shadow. As the torture progresses and Daemon resorts to worse methods, he physically leans further away from the light source. The cinematography is actively mapping his psychological descent. He is literally leaving the light behind to find his answers. Your practical takeaway: map your character's moral choices to your lighting setup. As a character does darker things, physically direct the actor to move out of your key light and let the shadows consume them. A filmmaker's job isn't to write angry characters, it is to direct insecure ones. It isn't to decorate a set, it is to narrate an environment. This episode proves that true directing happens in the spaces between the dialogue. The next time you sit down to watch a scene, look past the words. Watch the animals in the background. Listen to the unseen threads off screen. Watch how the light bends around moral decay. And watch who takes the punishment for someone else's bruised ego. That is where the real story is being told. Keep creating, and I will see you in the next Anigramix lesson. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you're still here and watching, thank you so much. Please subscribe to Anigramix and press the bell icon. You already know why. Thank you. Bye bye. See you in the next lesson. Bye.